Hey everybody, it's Ellen Lewis from Crazy for You. Good evening and thank you for joining me. I'm so glad you're here. Happy New Year. You can hear the bells across the street ringing and it's so nice. I'm here in the shop tonight and as I promised, I wanted to share with you my knitting plans for winter 2023. I would love to tell you that I was organized enough to have my entire year's worth of knitting all planned out, but I'm not. In fact, it's a struggle for me to limit what I'm actually going to do to just these 3 months. But you know, it's a start, so I thought it would be super fun. So thank you guys for coming. Let's see who all is here. All right. Hi, Barbara. Hey, Valerie. I'm not sure who the imperfect stitcher is, but welcome. Hey, Jal. Hi, Ellen. Hi, Gail. So nice to see you guys. So before we get started, I wanted to share with you a couple things that I ended up finishing last year before or after I had done the all the stuff I knit this year. I think next year I'll have that a little smarter and I'll wait till like the very last podcast of the year will be all the stuff that I finished. I hope it's more than 2 things, but at this rate, who knows? Anyway, so I wanted to share with you 2 things that I did finish, I guess, in November and December. So super fun. So bear with me while I do that. Okay. Oh, we have a new comment. Let's see. Hey, Evelyn. Okay, so this one is called Agnes. And this is designed by Martin Story. It's from the Mode collection for autumn winter 2022-23. And I love this. I love this so much. This is knitted in Rowan big wool. And it has this gorgeous cable in the front. And it's just so smooshy. And there were two options in the pattern. You could do like a crew neck, or you could do this turtleneck. And I ended up doing, my favorite way of doing a turtleneck is to knit it. So I wanted this to come up to be a full turtleneck. But what I did is I knit it twice as long, and then I folded it down inside. So you can see that the neck, it doesn't have a bind off at the top. So I prefer this look to a standard bound off edge, but it does mean that it's double thick at the neck, which I personally love. If you don't love that, then maybe this is not the technique for you. But I think this is a beautiful sweater. I had so much fun knitting it, and it was super, super fast on size 15 needles. Just a really great fabric. And I love the color. Even though this kind of green, you wouldn't maybe think of something that I always gravitate to, but it actually is one of my favorite colors. I had a sweater this color, and my daughters used to fight over it. I think Elizabeth finally won when she took it off to college. Okay, so that is Agnes, and that is available as a single pattern on Ravelry, or it is in the Mode collection. I think I want to say it's 8, Mode 8. Oh my goodness, can you believe it's been 8 seasons for Mode? I remember when they just started. Hey, Patty. Hey, Terry. Oh, hi, Glenn. Okay, so very nice to have you. Glenn is just telling me that she is the imperfect stitcher. I love that. Thank you. Okay, so this is one I finished right before Christmas. And this is called The Weekender. And this is by Baby Cocktails, Thea Coleman. And it's done with mosaic. So super fun to knit. I don't know if you've ever used mosaic technique before, but it gives you the look of stranded knitting, but you're only ever carrying one color at a time. So you're working across a row, and the color that you want to be the other color, you slip it from the row before. So you can kind of tell when something is mosaic versus stranded because it has more of a, I want to say a digital look, more of a Lego kind of of effect than that smooth sort of stranded color charting that you get with a stranded knitting. But it's super fun to do, and I love the effect of it. I did this with Kelborn Woolen's Scout, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. I did that same treatment at the top here. Anyway, and this is worked with Feederbook Entropy, which is one of my favorite new yarns. We've had a hard time keeping it in stock, but really fun. It took just one skein of the Feederbook and 4 skeins of the Entropy of the Scout. So that was super fun, and I did want to share that with you because it wasn't going to get shared next year. And so let me know what you think. Some of you knit that Western Rose along with me, and that was really fun to see all of them in all the different colors. So very cool. All right, so I promised that I would share with you what my knitting plans are for this coming season. So one thing for sure is already on my needles, and that is the Stockholm Sweater. Let me bring up what this looks like. So this is the Stockholm Sweater. It's by Petite Knits, and it is knit from the top down with 2 strands of yarn. She has used 2 strands of the equivalent of Kid Silk K's, and I am using a strand of Rowan Fine Lace and a strand of Kid Silk K's. So I'll show you these two. So this is the Fine Lace, and this is the Kid Silk K's. I don't know if you can tell from the camera, the lighting seems to be a little weird, but anyway, it's this really pretty mauve color, and the color of the Fine Lace and the Kid Silk K's are really close. So very pretty. I absolutely love, love, love the fabric. And it's worked from the top down. So you have one of these where you cast on for the back, and then you work short rows to shape the shoulder on both sides. And then you pick up, oh, you don't, okay, scratch that. I can't believe I just did this and I've already forgotten. So you start with the back, you cast on the whole back, and then you pick up the front and you work short rows. So the short row shaping is all in the front. Isn't that crazy? I can't believe I didn't even remember. Anyway, I promise that I did knit this. I swear it. Anyway, so it has kind of a round neck, and we're going to come later and pick that up and make a little turtleneck. You know, I love a good turtleneck, obviously. So it's knitted in the round, but I personally am not much of an in the round girl. Some of my stitches fell off here, which is a peril of doing things that are not in the round. Anyway, so I am doing it flat, but I'm doing the front and back at the same time. So you can see that I have actually 4 balls of yarn going at the same time. And that's been a little bit of a challenge, but I don't know. I love the fabric so much, and I know that I am going to love wearing this garment. Anyway, so this is at the top of my list for winter 2023. I probably have another 3 inches of body and then 4 inches of ribbing to do, and then the sleeves. And I hope to get this done before the end of January. And that's a goal and not a deadline, okay? So that is at the top of the list. The next thing is a Cocoknits Emma. So I'm teaching a class on the Cocoknits method starting next Saturday. So I need to have that very high priority as well, because I always knit a sweater along with the class. I probably end up, when I teach it, I end up knitting two sweaters because I knit a little piece and I have it in the different stages so that I can show and demonstrate what it's supposed to look like at this stage and what it's supposed to look like at this stage. Kind of like if you ever watched those cooking shows from the 60s. I think I grew up on Julia Child cooking shows where she would pull the thing out of the oven, you know, even though you know she just put it in there, like you watched her put it in there and then she pulls the done one out, kind of like that. Anyway, so this time I am going to do Emma version C. And let me show you what that one is. Here we go. This is Emma version C. And as you know, Emma is worked top down and in the round. I mean, obviously this is a cardigan, so it's not going to be in the round, but it is worked in one piece. And you know, even after all of the Emmas that I have done over all the years and all the times that I've taught this class, I've never done it as a cardigan. So I think it's super cute. And there's an option to do these cute pockets. You can do it, you know, and you can do it at any length. So my vision for this particular Emma is I want to do kind of an A-line. So I think rather than going straight down, I think I'm going to do some increases so that it's a little bit swingy. And I think I'll probably make it about hip width. And I've already swatched that. Where's my little swatch? Hello, little swatch. Oh, okay, here it is. So I'm using Noro Tsuido, which is a bulky Noro yarn. It's got some thick and thin and you know, all of those little gloppy bits that you expect from Noro. But since it's just stockinette, I thought it would be nice to have a little bit of texture in it. I also swatched it in this yarn, which is La Pampa, which is a beautiful, very smooth plied yarn from Juniper Moon. And it's absolutely perfect at the gauge of 12 stitches over 4 inches. So it'll be perfect for Emma also. And I might make 2. I'm not going to make this one into the swing coat because I already have a sort of a swing coat this color, but I was thinking maybe kind of a duster would be nice in this. Maybe a little bit, you know, a little bit longer, maybe put little kid selkaes with it. I don't know. It's perfect. The gauge is perfect just like this. But this is my little top bit for the Emma. You start with this little trapezoid. Let me show you what this looks like knitted. So I think the fabric's really pretty. It's very nice to knit. And I do love the Emma because it goes so fast. So that is probably going to have to be done. I'll finish this by the end of January for sure, because I have the 2 classes and that has to take priority. So Stockholm might have to take a little more time. We'll see. We will see. But again, these are goals and not deadlines, right? Okay, let's see what's going on. Okay, hi, Amy. Hi, Kat. Hey, Mary. Nice to see you. Hey, Terry. Hey, Jenna. Nice to meet you. 12 inches of snow. So Jenna just said she got 12 inches of snow in Minnesota. Oh my goodness. Wow. We're living life pretty high. It's about 60 degrees during the day here. So, you know, we don't get those kind of winters in the mid-Atlantic region, Maryland in particular. So I miss that. Let's see what Ellen has to say. Yes, Ellen loves that cactus color too. That cactus that she's referring to is the color of this this Agnes. So yes. All right, and Terry needs to think about the Emma. Yes, Terry, have you ever done a Cocoknits? It is a really, really fun knit. Like I said, I've done so many of them. I had a lady in the shop, and she's taking the class on. She's taking this upcoming class, and I had on a sweater, and she's excited about her sweater, and she's trying to figure out which one to do. It was Chris, and she said, "Oh, I love the sweater that you have on. That looks really good. What sweater is that?" I said, "It's the Cocoknits, Emma." And part of the reason I love the Emma sweater is it's just like a perfect palette. You know, it's chunky, so it goes really fast, but it's not like so chunky that you feel like it's too chunky. But you can really do anything with it. You know, I have done them with tapered sleeves. I've done them with short sleeves. The one that she commented on, I made the neck a little deeper, and it's a square neck, and I stopped doing the sleeves in the round right about here, and I had them split. So you've got this open kind of a bell sleeve, which is incredibly impractical, but very, very appealing looking. So she said, "Oh, I didn't know." So anyway, there's a lot that you can do with it. And, you know, you can just sort of, as you go, decide how you want the sleeve to be. You can put no shaping in, and it will look almost like a bell. You put a lot of shaping in, make it a very bold bell, or you know, you can taper it and have it come down close as a standard tapered sleeve. Anyway, and you can make it any length, and you can open up the size. So super fun. You just have to get the, you know, this whole upper part going on. So anyway, there's that. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, what is that hot pink yarn at the beginning of Emma? Oh, well, okay. I'm going to have to tell you. So that is Emma. And that is, like I said, that's a priority, even above Stockholm, because I have to get that. So that hot pink yarn right here at the beginning of Emma, that's actually at the end of Emma, because what I did is I put my stitches on this waist yarn. That is my swatch for the Musoni. And let me show you what that one is. That's really pretty too. And you have seen this, I think. So this is the Musoni sweater. This is the one that, if you watched last week, that Whitney did, and she said it took her maybe a week. And I've been so excited about that sweater. And there's just, I'm not going to lie, there's something very, very appealing about a super bulky sweater that knits up in no time. And I thought hers was incredibly cute on her. If you read my newsletter, then you saw a picture of her wearing it. But it's a turtleneck, it's top down and in the round. And I just think it's so cute. I love the way she styled it with the boots here. All right. So anyway, that is my next thought and plan, is to knit that Musoni sweater. And this is a gorgeous, gorgeous hot pink. But I got to tell you, this is my color of choice. So can you see that? This is just a really soft ballet pink. You know, a little bit warm, very, very pale, and the yarn is just so incredibly smooshy. It's fantastic. The gauge on this sweater is 7 stitches over 4 inches. So I went ahead and I cast on 14 stitches plus 2 for my ends, and it's absolutely perfect. For me, I did it on a US 17, and I know it would be super, super fast to do. And I know I have absolutely no business casting on a super bulky sweater when I have several others to do. But again, I think it would only take maybe a weekend. It might be a fun challenge, like a little knit along on that. What do you guys think? Would that be a fun knit along? Would you ever knit a sweater that's super bulky? Tell me in the chat if you would knit a super bulky sweater on size 17 needles. Because I'll tell you, knitters are none of them is halfway about super bulky yarn. Like if I said to Ginny Stein, Ginny, I want you to knit this sweater with me on size 17 needles, she would say, yeah, no way. Not going to happen. I think Jenny May would do it, but a lot of knitters really hate using big, big needles. But I don't know, there's something so satisfying. It's just instant gratification, you know, and then you have it and it's done. And the yarn is so gorgeous and so many gorgeous colors. So let's see what people think. All right. Hey, Rita. Okay, Amy. So Amy, you're talking about the Emma, right? You haven't done a cardigan in the Emma? Yeah, I think it's going to be really good. I'm excited about it. Yeah. Let's see, Betty. Hi, Betty. You do love the bulky sweater? Oh, I'm so glad. So, oh, and I didn't tell you. So this bulky yarn is called Rowan Big Wool. I did a whole podcast on this yarn and the kinds of garments that you could make with it. And the Musoni was one that I featured. And then Whitney made it and it looks so cute. I got jazzed about it. So big wool. If you've ever used big wool, it's almost twice as thick as the big wool. And I think it's, for me, it's perfect at a gauge of the 14 stitches, not 14 stitches, 7 stitches over 4 inches. Yeah, so I think it's perfect at that gauge. And like I said, I needed a US 17 to get this gauge. And I like the fabric. You probably could do it on a 19, Ellen, or you might have to use a 19 to get this gauge on this yarn. I was really glad to be able to get it on a 17 because I don't have any 19s handy. I mean, I have them somewhere. I just can't lay my hands on them. Anyway, who's with me? Who would knit this with me in the big wool? Would you be up for a weekend challenge to say, do it the last weekend of January? We all cast on, like do a Friday night happy hour, cast on, and then on Sunday night we show where we are. Would that be fun? I think that might be fun. Let's see what else. Oh, so Glenn would knit a super bulky sweater. Glad to know that. Yes. Okay, so did I answer your question, Alan? This is big wool, right? And the difference is really striking, you know, and it just looks really different, but it feels gorgeous. It feels wonderful. And this is the sweater that Whitney had mentioned takes a little maintenance. So I think it is going to have a little bit of a pilly bit at the beginning, but not so much that you can't wear it. And if you get a sweater shaver, it's going to keep it in tip-top condition. You know, you are going to get some pilling regardless of the yarn that you use. A lot of times yarns are going to pill. So there it is. And I wish that weren't so, but it is. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Betty would knit that. Yes, Amy. Okay. But now you like the bulky. I love the bulky one. Ooh, okay. Phyllis. Yeah, you would try it. Oh, I love how you ladies are up for it. Except Rita. Rita's like, no way. I'm with Ginny. Okay, I gotcha. Okay, Colleen would do it. All right, good to know. All right, well, that would be a fun thing. That would be a fun thing. We'll have to look at that. Okay, so moving on. The next sweater that I really want to knit is driven by the yarn. So sometimes I'll see a sweater and I'll think, oh, I love the way that looks. That would be great in my wardrobe, be perfect wardrobe edition. And other times I see the yarn and I think, oh my gosh, I love this so much. What can I knit with this that would put it right next to my skin? And this yarn is one of those yarns. I have a swatch of it somewhere. Don't tell me I didn't bring it over here. Anyway, I may have to go and get it. You'd have to excuse me while I got out. But anyway, so this is called Amélie by Illimani. And it is so incredibly soft. You absolutely cannot believe it. And I love these colors. I talked about this in the podcast that I did about the different yarn construction types, and this is what they call a tube yarn. This is the one that I mentioned, that the tube is made of silk and the fibers blown into it are alpaca. So it's incredibly light. This is, let's see, I'm gonna get my glasses because I can't remember exactly. Yes. So it's 56% mulberry silk and 40% baby alpaca and 4% merino, right? And it's 150 meters, but it's only like, I want to say this is 50 grams. It's not awful. I haven't, and they don't have that. They don't have it on there. I'm pretty sure it's 50 grams. Anyway, so incredibly, incredibly light and so amazingly silky. So let me show you what I am thinking about for this. I'm not thinking about it. I've decided this is a done deal. So I like this. I like the Wednesday sweater. Again, this is a petite knit with a drop shoulder and a turtleneck, but it's the right gauge for that yarn. And whoops, I love, hey, what happened? There we go. It's the right gauge for that yarn. I love the split hem. It just feels like Sunday morning. I think that's gorgeous. And the colors are amazing. A lot of folks like this sort of speckle. I'm not the hugest fan, but this is what she's used here is a hand-dyed speckled yarn carried with a strand of kid silk haze, right? A strand of lace weight kid and silk mohair. Very pretty and easy construction. Again, I would probably knit this flat and, knit it in the round to, as what I'm trying to say is I would probably knit this exactly as I'm doing the Stockholm and seam it. In this instance, she has done the shoulder shaping along the back, which is different from how she did with the Stockholm. So I like her stuff. I don't tend to be a huge in the round girl, but I do like this, and I think that's going to be absolutely amazing. Okay, so all right, so there's that. What is the other one I wanted to show you that was definitely okay? So the last one that is on my mind that I'm excited about, and I wrote about this in the newsletter. This is not a new pattern, but I was thinking it would be fun to have a kind of a spring cardigan. I talk about spring garments a lot because spring sweaters are, to me, that they're perfect because it's cold here still in the spring. It's still 40, 50, maybe pushing 60 degrees. I mean, we're having an off time right now, but yeah, it's still pretty cold in the spring. But come March, April, we are completely done. At least I am. I'm completely done with fall colors and I'm tired of my fall clothes. And I want something that feels fresh and springy. So I wanted to knit this, which is the oxbow cardigan. Like I said, this is not a new pattern. This has got to be a solid 5 years old. It's by Andrea Mowry, and it's knit all in one piece, but it has an interesting stitch pattern. So I was just thinking that in a bright, fun spring color, that would be a beautiful, beautiful garment. It's very size inclusive, so really nice. And my thoughts were to do it, like I said, in a bright color. So love this bright kind of rosy pink. I thought that would be very nice and fresh for spring. And if you did the magnolia bloom, that's the fabric. Okay, so it's a strand of this Santa Cruz, which is a heavy worsted weight wool yarn, and a strand of the kid silk haze. And I love this yarn. It's not the softest yarn to the touch, okay? It's not extra fine merino, okay? It does not have an 18 micron count. It's probably more like 20 or 22 micron, which means it's going to be more durable. So I like the way it feels, especially with the kid silk case with it. So you can see it's a really soft, slightly fuzzy fabric. And I love the color range. So, I mean, you could do a million color, give a million color options with this. And with a new palette of kid silk case, I mean, there's a kid silk case for every single yarn in the Santa Cruz range. So love that. I think that's super fun. So that's what's on my mind for the last one. That will be probably my last. I think I had one more I wanted to share with you too. Oh, yes. Gosh, I really still do want to do this one too. So the agave, let me share this too with you. This is by Georgia Farrell. And I fell completely in love with this when we had Georgia's trunk show here. We had the, I guess it was the Mode trunk show. And this is worked in tweed haze. Fabulous garment. So easy fitting and just so comfortable and flattering. I love this. And again, I know it would be fast and it would be soft and fuzzy and fluffy. So that was something, but I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to work that one in. But I do love it. So it looks like we have a question here. What is the yarn you are holding? Okay, do you mean this one? This is Santa Cruz plus Kid Silk Haze. This one that I'm holding is Rowan Big Wool, as is this swatch in the Rowan Big Wool. Let's see, no, not that one. So this is the Santa Cruz and the Kid Silk Haze, and this is also the Santa Cruz and the Kid Silk Haze, Gwen, if that's your question. So these are the same, all right? This knits up to be this. And anyway, so tell me in the comments which ones you like. Oh, and I have to tell you, so we are going to be doing Vogue Knitting Live in February. So I am working on a shawl, which is also a priority because that has to be ready for Vogue Knitting Live. It's small yet, but it will get there. This is a super special little garment. It doesn't look like much right now, but it's a beautiful shawl, and I'm working it in the felted tweed color. So you can see that this is a super subtle gradient yarn. It's basically felted tweed that has been spun to go through an entire palette. And there are lovely colors. Let me grab the other two skeins that I have of it. So believe it or not, these three skeins are all the same colorway. So all of these colors appear in this particular colorway. So it's going to be really beautiful and have this wonderful gradient. And then the magic is that it gets a ruffle of Kid Silk Haze along the edge, a striped ruffle. So super beautiful, very fun. And it's going to take a while. I do love this approach. You know, this is one of these small, it starts small and it gets big. So you make a whole lot of progress at the beginning and you feel like you're doing really great. And then you get to where it's like as wide as it's going to be. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do one more row. But anyway, I'm liking this and that's really fun. So, oh, basket yarn. Okay, thank you. This is called Amélie by Illimani Yarns, and I don't have it on the website yet. I promise that I will do that this week. It is gorgeous and it is truly wonderful. I mean, truly beyond fabulous. I love it so much. Thank you, Betty, for letting me know which yarn it was that that Gwen was talking to. And hello, beautiful Carolyn. How are you doing, my darling? Hope everything is well with you. So I found this, I'm knitting this little shawl on these needles that I have from way long time ago. Don't they look like a magic wand? It makes me feel like Hermione. It's magical. All right, Rita, there is no name for this. It's going to be called the Duchess shawl. All right, it's a rework of a pattern that we did previously, um, at a different gauge, slightly different shaping. But as soon as the pattern is ready, I will have it for you. But it is going to be called the Duchess shawl, and it is going to be beautiful. I think you'll love it. So those are my knitting plans. I think it will be interesting after the end of the winter to see what I've actually been able to accomplish. Don't count on me for all of them. You know, these are goals. The only ones I know for sure that I will finish will be Stockholm, Emma, and the Duchess shawl. The others I'm going to have to work in. Would like to plan a knit along for this one for a weekend. So stay tuned. If you don't already get the newsletter, do sign up. There's a link in the video description. You can sign up there, and then you'll be notified of, you know, if we do a knit along and how to sign up for that. So that would be super fun. So thank you very much for joining me tonight and sharing with me this fun little look at what the plans are for winter knitting. And I would be happy to hear in the comments what you are planning to knit this winter and what is on your radar. Maybe there's some beautiful patterns you know that I haven't seen that you would like to share with me. I would love to see them. So until next time, keep knitting and create something beautiful. Good night.